All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Support Small and Local. And today I'm very excited to introduce Tamara from For the Love of Money. And it's an extremely timely conversation to be having. So, Tamara, thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. So, Tamara, like the whole purpose of Support Small and Local, as you know, is to connect with business owners like yourself, people who have been feeling the effects of COVID like we all have throughout 2020. And as I mentioned, very timely topic today to be talking to you. And I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Beautiful. Thank you. So I run a bit of a business help page. Away from that, I'm a mum of three, a wife, and a bit of I like to help people, I suppose. So while I was on maternity leave, I was getting a lot of questions from friends in business, knowing that I'm an accountant and have been for, nearly 15 years. And I was having a lot of people reach out to me and say, do you know anything about JobKeeper? How do I do this grant application? What do you think about this in business? And I found that, there was a real need. So I started the For the Love of Money page, and it kind of drew on experiences that me and my husband have in our business as well. And then also on my experience as an accountant and, dealing with people in their businesses every day. So I kind of draw on my personal experiences and my knowledge and just try and share that out to as many local businesses as I can to just get that info out there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I really love that approach of, being an accountant, but also, going to another level, an extra length, I suppose, in order to get as much information out there as possible. Because I think we can all agree that, one of the biggest stresses or issues that the pandemic has, forced on us is financial hardship, right? For so many people. So what have you, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think it definitely has. And a lot of people just don't know where to find this info. Like accountants have also been very impacted by this, and they've had to, navigate to working from home and trying to, keep doing jobs and things. And I think that this information is just not getting out there to people. And I think that's just something that I just found. And I was like, people just need to have this information handy and have a platform that they can go to, get some, basic advice, and then kind of reach out if they need, more info.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And for everybody who is watching and listening, the business page is on Instagram.
Yeah, and Facebook as well.
And Facebook, perfect. Have you got some handles for us where people can find that?
What was that? Sorry.
Have you got some handles for us where people can find that, or the name of the page?
Oh, just For the Love of Money AU. Perfect,
excellent. So tell me, what, how has the pandemic affected you personally in terms of work? And obviously, you've made some great changes in creating the business page and helping people. But what's it been like for yourself personally?
So personally, my husband and I have a business where we build pivot and lateral irrigators. We do a lot of work. Not internationally, interstate. So we had a lot of Queensland contracts and a lot of Tassie contracts that got cancelled straight up at the start of the pandemic because of COVID and the border restrictions that came into place. So my husband and I kind of had to sit our workforce down and have those hard conversations that a lot of other businesses have had to have as well, in terms of shutdowns and JobKeeper and, we don't have any work, but we're trying to find work and that type of thing. So personally, it has impacted us quite a lot. And then on the flip side of that, as an accountant, I'm also helping a lot of clients navigate through that as well. And it's been a really, really hard thing to go through as a business owner, to try and, your whole business might have been tracking along totally fine, and then you've had the rug pulled out of underneath you. You've been forced closed, if you're in one of those, you're a gym or a beautician or even retail in that first wave. They just had to shut up shop. And what do you do? How do you, keep paying your employees and things like that? Obviously then JobKeeper was introduced, so then helping, trying to figure out as myself how that works in business, and then having to, teach others how to do that as well. So it's been a roller coaster. It's just been crazy.
Yeah, and look, a big pat on the back for yourself as well. Not only to be able, like, navigating all of that yourself, but then also, putting in the effort to provide as much as you can for people in terms of information and support and all that sort of stuff. So very well done on that. What sort of things did you have to do? You've kind of touched on it, but when the pandemic did hit, what kind of pivots and changes did you have to sort of make?
So in our personal business, we had to, I don't know, it just took me and my husband a few days to kind of process, oh my God, like we've just lost 6 months worth of work, and what are we going to do? How are we going to pay our house mortgage? That type of thing. So personally, I think we just took a few days to kind of get our heads around it and, okay, well, what are we going to do now, and things like that. So we had to look for other business opportunities ourselves, more local opportunities, and diversify a little bit to be able to still get a little bit of income. So we did that in our business. And then I suppose on the flip side, I had never kind of had an Instagram page or anything like that before. So when I was getting all of these questions from other businesses on how to navigate through this, just how I was then going, okay, well, maybe I need to find a platform to get that info out there. And I'm a bit of, I'm a bit of a helper. Like I have, that caring, helping nature, I suppose. So I just kind of wanted to create some sort of platform to be able to help other businesses and help, get that information out there. But the amount of phone calls and messages and things like that I have on a daily basis to try and, help different people is amazing. And I love kind of doing that. So it's kind of brought lots of changes and things like that out, which is good.
Well done, well done. Look, I think a very timely conversation, obviously, and it's the world that you're involved in. Is what happens moving forward with JobKeeper and support. There's a lot of conversations going on at the moment around the fact that the government is starting to reel in that kind of stimulus and support that's available. So, can you sort of touch on what JobKeeper 2.0 in particular looks like, sort of moving forward?
Unfortunately, a lot of businesses are going to fall out of it. A lot of what I'm finding in practice is a lot of retail businesses, they, were shut in that first wave, and come June, July, they had banging months and everyone, went crazy, went shopping, got out. And those, that July month is actually causing the whole quarter to be up by more than the 30% drop that they need. And that means a lot of people who really still need it, because, the future's unknown, and maybe the last couple of months in this second wave of, restrictions hasn't been that good. And going forward, it's still really unknown. And I think a lot of people are falling out, and that's just devastating, I think. I don't think Scott Morrison's going to listen to this to really get my opinion.
Oh, you never know. We'll flick him a link in an email,
But to be honest, like, I think a lot of businesses are going, right, okay, well, we've had a good run, or we've had a good run, we've got it now. No, we're not going to qualify for the next 3 months, but you can retest in on the 3rd of January. So you may come back. So you may be out of it for the next 3 months, but you may be able to come back. So I think businesses are just talking a lot to us, and, figuring out their options, figuring out how to, stop it if they need to, or yes, they test okay, and what processing they need to do behind the scenes. But yeah, JobKeeper is definitely a huge one at the moment. It's just very different for everyone, but unfortunately, as you said, the government are reining it in a little bit, and that means that a lot of people are going to fall out, which probably shouldn't.
In terms of people finding out more information, I mean, obviously, they can contact you and they can follow you, but do you have any sort of suggestions on where people can find out more information about this sort of thing?
On my page, there's a fair bit of info, but either one, you can contact your accountant. They should be all over it. Two, the government websites are really difficult to navigate and kind of understand that accounting jargon. That's why I started, I suppose, the page to try and simplify things like that. So more than happy to help and chat to anybody that needs help if they aren't kind of getting what they need or can't understand what the government are putting out.
Yeah, and it's can certainly be a lot to take in and be very confusing at times. So that's understandable. In terms of another big area, I suppose, and topic of conversation is around support for small business, micro business, and sole traders. Right? What can you fill us in around in that space?
There's a lot of grants out, a lot of hospitality grants at the moment that I'm helping a lot of people through, and business support round 3, as well as then the sole trader grants, which is $3,000 to help people pretty much that haven't been able to get the business support funds or any of the other grants because they don't employ people and things like that. So there's a lot of assistance out there for small businesses, and a lot of people just don't know where to find that, which is just one of those hard things. I suppose in my industry we know where to look. A lot of small businesses don't necessarily know where to look if you've never had to do grants before, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. It can be a little bit daunting, and especially with the other pressure and stresses that's going on, finding the time to sit down and figure all of that out can be quite overwhelming. So it's good to know that people can contact people like yourself and get some clear answers on this sort of thing.
Yeah, what I've been trying to, I suppose, give everyone a bit of a heads up on what they might need when they go to do the application, because I've done heaps of them. So, make sure you have your work cover number, or make sure you have this or that, because it's those things that people kind of go to sit down and do it, and then they get thrown because they're like, oh, I didn't know I needed that because it doesn't say that. And that kind of, just acts as a barrier to stop them from doing it. So I've been trying to kind of talk people through it, say, you need this type of information, and hopefully try and guide them through the process so then they can get it, because there's a lot of money out there at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of money. There's a lot of support, and oftentimes it's just knowing where to find it and how to apply and how to qualify for it. Yeah, what sort of lessons have you learnt sort of personally with, when it comes to business or even personally just with the effects of COVID, right? I think, it's been one hell of a year for all of us. And, I like to touch on the fact that there's a lot of silver linings out there as well. There's a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, but there's also a lot of silver linings. So what are some of the things that you might have learnt throughout this year?
So I think that I've learnt to never assume that people know, or never take for granted, I suppose, the knowledge and the experience that I've had, because a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people aren't necessarily, some creative people don't necessarily have one of those analytical brains like I do. I can't do creative stuff, but not take for granted, I suppose, the knowledge that I've gained over the years. Supporting local, because we are all like one big community, and if we all don't support each other and help us all get through this, then our community is going to change 6 months down the track, and half of the shops that we have aren't going to be there, and that's really devastating from someone living in a local community. I live in Cobram. I go to Yarra a lot, go to Shepparton a lot, and I think we need these rural communities to keep intact and keep that's our way of life. So I think that's been a really big thing for me, is trying to support local businesses and navigate through this as much as we can, and also educate others to just support local, stop shopping online, go and shop online with a local shop.
Yeah, exactly.
Online stores instead of a big corporation that's not a local.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then just being kind to others. I think a lot of people, are very quick to judge, people in business that might have had to shut their shops or put their staff members off. But what I suppose not everyone kind of has that insight of both sides of the fence, and just being kind and understanding, and knowing that there's a hell of a lot people are going through behind the doors or behind the scenes that, people are unaware of. So just trying to, help people as much as I can.
That's fantastic. Look, we really appreciate the time that you've taken today. And before we do wrap up, just one more time, where can people find out more about For the Love of Money?
So head over to my Instagram or Facebook pages, and I'm sharing information all the time. So you can go there, give us a like or a follow, and then you can kind of keep updated with all this stuff.
Send Tamara all your big juicy questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you very much for your time. Thanks also for being a part of Support Small and Local. And look, again, from us to you, well done on everything that you're doing, managing this situation, but also taking the time to help out other people as well. That's fantastic. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. And I think it's great what you guys are doing, because it's a very similar thing as well. So I think pat on the back for yourself as well, because it's awesome.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
No worries. See ya.